Twisted Wonderland's Guestroom, a cute and cozy housing simulator where you can flex your interior design skills for rewards like tokens and extra card levels for your favorite boys. With the gameplay consisting of craft furniture, place furniture, get rewarded, there's wholesome fun to be had for the whole family, right? But what if I told you behind this colorful cacophony of characters lies a diabolical plot to keep you from reaching your token and friendship goals? One fueled by obfuscation, omission, and misdirection. You can choose not to believe me at your own peril, but for those of you brave enough to seek the truth, I am happy to share it with you, for you see, I have studied the ancient texts of various wiki sites, and what I have found I've compiled into this very video so that you can get your bag and max your friendships easily and efficiently. That's right, we're back at it again with an updated guest room guide, which now covers the entirety of the game system in its current form, because unlike my last guide, I will be going over each and every one of the guest room's individual mechanics in addition to the comfort and friendship systems. So you'll have all the info you could ever need, and perhaps a bit more than you ever wanted, on this lovely little minigame. Naturally, if you're only interested in something specific, you can hop around, but the friendship and comfort sections are slightly intertwined, so I would recommend watching both of those just to get the full context. Now then, let's start with the basics and discuss what the guest room is and what we can actually do there. As mentioned in the intro, this is in fact Twisted Wonderland's housing system, a mini-game-like area where you can decorate a room with various craftable furniture items themed after in-game locations as well as real-life interior design styles. Some of the characters from cards you've collected will show up in your room from time to time as well to enjoy the space you've created, offering some commentary here and there for your amusement. Essentially, you get to make a room that houses guests, and the system is therefore called the guest room. Pretty simple, no? While creating cute spaces is all well and good, the main draw of this system is its connection to friendship leveling, as this is the sole place, currently, that allows you to upgrade this card aspect. The way that you gain experience, though, isn't clearly defined by the game, and it never tells you which of the actual guest room mechanics is affecting the experience bonuses you receive. Additionally, as you are upgrading your room rank, the comfort system is going to be prioritized over friendship. You need to reach certain comfort milestones in order to increase your room rank. Your comfort score will determine how many tokens you get, and those tokens can be used in Sam's shop to further upgrade your guest room or even purchase items to increase friendship. Because the guest room itself emphasizes comfort above all else, it can be very easy for people to assume that comfort is related to friendship, but the two systems are completely opposite one another despite using the same base statistics to score your room. A comfortable room needs to be one that anybody on campus can enjoy. It has to be a space that incorporates all themes from all the different furnitures and perhaps a couple of different dorms to make things a little more equitable so that the NRC boys don't get super upset that you are only favoring Diasomnia over, say, Pomfiore. A friendship room, however, is targeted towards a singular individual. It is targeted to Vil, to Jade, to Floyd. And because of that, it needs to be set up in a way that is specific to that character, including their dorm and preferred themes. However, before we get into the weeds of those mechanical bits, let's discuss the game system's basic features first. Because if we don't even know how to place a chair, we're not going to be able to do much else. When you tap on the guest room mirror from any of the menu screens, you'll be brought to your very own guest room. Depending on your room's rank, you may not have certain features available to you, and if you're just starting out, you'll be extremely restricted. The game will slowly but surely introduce you to these features as you progress the guest room and its story, and to the game's credit, it actually does this decently well. For our purposes though, just note that the features on the bottom right all relate to creating the layout of your guest room. The features on the left relate to the character cards and the characters that show up in your room, and the bottom tracker here tracks various stats that will become important later. Everyone will have access to redecorating right off the bat, so we'll go over this first. Redecorating is where you will go to craft furniture and set up your room layout. By tapping this button, you'll be brought to a separate user interface where only the furniture you've placed in a room is visible, if you have any furniture placed at all. Here you have a few different options, some of which will be locked behind certain room rank requirements. The first button that's important is storage, as this will be where the game prompts you to go, if I'm remembering correctly right off the bat, but good lord, it has been such a long time. This is where all your crafted furniture ends up, regardless of whether or not you have placed it in your room. And it is where I believe the first few pieces of the tutorial furniture end up, which again, it's been a long time, not entirely sure. But if you tap this, you can see what furniture you have and whether or not it has been placed, with placed items being grayed out and non-placed items being full color. Provided you are not at maximum capacity, tapping on one of your crafted furniture items will allow you to place it in the room. You'll have the ability to flip it between two different POVs, see its details, put it back into your storage, or place it in your room. Once you have placed it, you'll be brought back to your storage to place another item. You can also use filters and subsections to easily toggle through the various kinds of furniture that you have, or you can tap this All tab to see everything that you have ever crafted or possibly gotten in your inventory all at one time. To get more furniture to place, you're going to go back to that main redecorating menu and select Crafting. Tapping this button, unlocked at room rank 2, will bring up all the furniture recipes you've got unlocked, sorted into different subsections that you can toggle through, much like the filters on the storage page. To craft a furniture item, you simply need to tap on it, see if you meet the requirements, and then hit either Craft and Place, which will immediately let you place the furniture item into your room, or Craft and Store, which will put the item in your storage for you to place later. If you've placed the maximum amount of furniture in your room, the only option that will be available to you is Craft and Store. To unlock a crafting recipe, you'll need to do one of 4 things: upgrade your guest room, upgrade specific cards, upgrade specific card aspects, or play through an event's story. All of the basic furniture sets, including the dorm sets, are unlocked as you upgrade your guest room's room rank, which you can do by completing various guest room related tasks. Some cards come with special furniture items that relate to their outfits instead of vignette stories, which are unlocked instead of these stories when you upgrade those special cards' vignette level. Some SSR cards will even interact with their special furniture items, playing an exclusive animation and voice line when they trigger the interaction. All SSR cards also have special portrait items of the SSR card artwork, which are unlocked at uncapped level 1 after groovification. During limited time events, sets of related furniture can be crafted, with the recipes unlocking as you progress through the event's story. Unlike the other unlock methods, these recipes are not permanent and are only available during the limited time event and for a short while afterwards, so you'll have to craft them before they're gone. From the furniture crafting screen, you can also choose to pin an item to your wish list. Back on the main crafting page, you'll see the wish list button on the bottom right. One would think that tapping it would bring you to your wish list, but no. Instead, this allows you to more easily pin furniture items to that wish list by simply tapping on them from this menu. To get back to crafting, you need to tap Crafting, and then to actually view the items that you have pinned to your wish list, you need to tap into the filters, go to Filter, and then select Pinned. Do not ask me why it is this way. I did not make the feature, and I think it'd be much clearer if we just swapped wish list with pin item, so that way it matches what it's actually doing, and then the filter would more clearly describe it. But what do I know? Each furniture item also has a couple of attributes: rarity, theme, and sometimes dorm. Rarity follows the same rules as cards, with bronze accents for R rank, silver for SR, and gold for SSR. However, you don't have to roll the dice to get higher rarity furniture like you do for cards. Instead, these pieces typically just require more materials to craft. Each piece of furniture will also have at least one theme, maybe 2, and some special pieces have a dorm affiliation. Rarity and theme attributes are important for both comfort level and friendship leveling, but for now, you can think of them as aesthetic preferences. Octagonal furniture is likely to look better when paired with other octagonal furniture, and unique furniture might look good paired with other unique pieces. that sort of thing. If you're curious about how many materials you have in your inventory, you can review the amounts by tapping into a piece of furniture or by hitting the materials button at the bottom of the main crafting page. The latter can be a nice way to easily see what stock you have of all of the basic items at any given time, rather than solely the items a specific piece of furniture needs. However, limited time event furnitures require limited time crafting materials, like themed paint. And if you want to see how much of these materials you have, you must instead go to a limited furniture item, go to the crafting gauntlet, which we'll get into later, or go all the way back to the home screen to access your inventory and then search that way. Which is annoying because they could just add an extra button to this screen, but again, what could I possibly know? To completely clear a room of its current decorations, if you don't like your layout and you just want to get rid of everything at once, you can tap this button and it'll send everything besides the wallpaper and flooring to your storage. To move just one or two furniture items around, you can tap Rearrange. Tapping on a piece of furniture in this screen will allow you to move it somewhere else in your room, as well as turn it, put it into your storage, and even see its details. All the same options that you get when you place the item from either crafting or storage. However, this screen also lets you access both storage and crafting, making it the best way to decorate your room. You can effortlessly swap between these systems and move everything around. It's just so useful. It's likely the only place that you're ever going to need to go when you are setting up a room. Crafting is still useful for when your room is full, but you want to make those limited time event furnitures, or are prepping a friendship room and are getting furniture ready for that. But I cannot tell you the last time I went specifically to the storage button outside of making this guide. You can also change the background music by tapping on the gramophone icon, which is unlocked at room rank 10. You can filter the music you have by a few different specifications, or if you don't have any music at all, you can tap on the music shop button to be brought directly to Sam. Here you can exchange tokens for background tracks to use in your guest room. Room tokens are obtained passively per hour, with the amount you receive being dictated by your comfort level, a mechanic that we're going to get into later. But it is important to note that music will not affect anything really in your guest room. It's just like an aesthetic feature. It sets a mood, and it can be fun to collect all the different tracks, but it's not going to help either your comfort or your friendship goals. Like, it's just there for you to enjoy. The last thing you can do in the Redecorate menu, aside from save your design once you've got your room where you want it to be, is save multiple designs in the Saved Layouts menu. This is unlocked at room rank 26 and allows you to easily swap between interior designs, which is extremely useful. You can set up a comfort layout once, a friendship layout once, and then swap between them at will for whenever you're working on friendship or token collection. Back in my day, you couldn't do this at all. So regardless of room rank, you had to recreate your room every single time your intention changed, and it was very, very annoying. To swap layouts, you'll hit the load button. You'll then tap save to apply it. If you make changes to a saved layout that you would like to keep, you simply hit the overwrite button on that specific layout. If you want to get rid of the layout entirely, just hit delete. And if you want to rename it, hit the swap button and then type in the name of choice. You can have up to 15 layouts saved like this for your various needs. Now, all of that redecorating stuff is well and good, but you can't really make a use of any of it if you don't have materials. You can buy materials from Sam's shop, but that requires tokens, and you only get so many of those per hour, with the rates being really low when you're just starting out. Additionally, Sam doesn't sell things like limited time event materials or dorm gems, which are required for limited time and dorm furniture respectively. So how do we get those? All basic and event materials can be farmed in the Crafter's Gauntlet, which is unlocked at room rank 3. This is a battle minigame system that offers different challenges for different types of rewards. Each day, there will be a set rotation of folks with specific crafting materials tied to them. You can move the map around and tap on various characters to see what tackling their challenges can get you, but it is much more efficient to just tap the reward list button at the bottom of the screen to bring up all of the rewards available that day. If you see something you like here, you can tap attempt and it will bring you directly to that challenge. You can also toggle your wish list from here, where you can actually see your wish list and you can see what materials you need to craft those pieces of furniture before you go and attempt challenges, in case you forgot that you needed wood or gems or what have you. Once you've decided on a challenge and have hit attempt to bring yourself there, you'll be met with a difficulty selection screen. The higher the difficulty, the more rewards you'll earn for completing the challenge. However, whatever character or characters are featured need to be included on your team. So, if you don't have a lot of leveled Jade, Floyd, or Deuce cards, but still want Octagonal Dorm Gems or unique paint, selecting a lower difficulty might be necessary. Tapping on the magnifying glass next to the difficulty will reveal the recommended levels and required characters, so you can find the difficulty that's right for you. Once you know which one you'd like to tackle, just tap it and you will be brought to the support screen. Unlike the exam system, the Crafter's Gauntlet lets you make use of support cards, so you can select other high-level cards, characters that you may not have, or even one of those event cards that has bonuses for your battle. You'll then make your team like normal, ensuring you have those required characters in your composition before heading into battle. To attempt a challenge, you will need to use one or all of your Gauntlet points, or GP. Just like in exams, spending 1 GP will attempt the challenge once and give you 1 attempt's worth of rewards, while using 5 GP will attempt the challenge once but give you 5 attempts worth of rewards. You can use special items called Sun Shards and Bottles of Sun Shards, available in Sam's Guestroom Token Shop, to refresh your GP to make more than 5 attempts per day. You cannot use gems to refresh this, same as the exam system. If you lose the fight, your GP will be refunded and you can try again, but if you succeed, your GP will be exchanged for rewards corresponding to the amount used and difficulty attempted. Since materials are on a rotation and you only have 5 attempts per day, when you are starting out, it is good to get a stock of basic materials before you focus on dorm gems. Once you have a reliable stock of wood and paint and stone, or a heavy coin purse with which to purchase them, then you can focus on grinding the dorm gems. There is also a visit feature on the main screen, which is available immediately to you. Here you can visit other folks' guest rooms to give yourself an idea or to give your friends some extra tokens. To visit a room, simply tap the visit button next to the player profile and then you'll be transported to their room. Here you can decide if it's worthy of a like, and if it is, tap this little button and you'll give them a like. Neat, right? This will also award them a small amount of room tokens as well, and because of this, you are limited to 5 likes per day so that you can't just spam your bestie to farm tokens. However, you can still check out their room by filtering the profiles by friends. You can also return likes that you've received by selecting the Visitors Who Liked You tab, and you can even see who you've given likes to in the past in the Last tab. If you want to just room hop to get some inspiration, you can also tap Randomize. In fact, you can evenly randomly hop from room to room by tapping the Randomize button in the room that you are visiting. You can see how many likes a room has gotten in the profile, as well as the overall comfort score and details by tapping on the profile once you are in the room. It may look a little funky when you do this, but we love it all the same. You can still see these base details from the main visit selection screen. However, you will not be able to see the room statistics unless you visit the actual room. The one quirky thing about this system, besides the slightly broken comfort pages, is that to continuously visit more than one room, even those of your friends, when you are in a room layout, you need to tap the visit button, not the back button. Hitting visit will bring up the visit page and allow more selections to be made, bringing you to the rooms that you choose quickly and easily. Hitting back, however, will not take you to this menu. It will take you to your own room instead, and then you'll have to hit visit again and then go through the motions that way. This can feel counterintuitive since the back button in most other menus will just bring you back to the last menu that you were in, so I can only assume that this was meant to give you an easy way back to your own guest room, but I find it to be a little more confusing than helpful, so if you want to room hop, make sure you're hitting visit instead. Then once you're done, you can hit back or even select guest room from the main menu to escape. Once you're back in your own room, you'll see the room rank banner displaying your room rank, and when tapped on, it will bring up the relevant tasks you need to complete to rank up to the next level if applicable. You can also see what rewards and upgrades that increase will give you, and look back on past quests if you so desire. When you reach room rank 31, you'll unlock the second floor, which can be accessed by tapping the floor banner right below room rank. You can use all of the other features from this floor like you would on your first floor. However, you can only change the layout of the floor that you are currently on. So, if you want to redecorate your second floor, you have to go up to your second floor and then hit redecorate. If you want to redecorate your first floor, you gotta be on the first floor. You can preview the other layout from the floor that you are currently on while you are redecorating, but you cannot change it until you get out of redecorating, go back to the floor that you want to change, and then go back into redecorating, which is very annoying. But it is what it is, so please be aware of that. Moving on to the left side of the screen, you will see the trash can icon, which you unlock at room rank 7, and this allows you to pick up trash that your guests have left behind. Why they cannot clean up after themselves is something that we still do not understand. But luckily, picking up trash also gives you a small chance to pick up treasures, like notebooks, honeys, snacks, and even a few very special gift items. Gift items can be used in the gifting screen, which you can reach by clicking on the gift box. This feature is unlocked alongside the trash can at room rank 7, and here you can select the specific card that you would like to level the friendship of, the gifts that you would like to give that character, including those special trash treasures, and then that character's friendship level will increase by the correlated amount. Each character also has 2 preferred themes, which are shared by all of their outfit cards, so giving a character items with their preferred themes, like a cute sticker for Floyd or a stylish sticker for Jade, will give them more friendship experience than the other themed items. Those special trash treasures will give them even more of a boost, and during character birthdays, you can also purchase special gifts to give the boys, which will greatly boost this experience. Gifting is not the only way to increase friendship, though. Most often, you'll level this card aspect by inviting specific characters to your guest room through the invite mechanic, unlocked at room rank 5 and represented by this lovely letter on the guest room home screen. Here, you'll be met with a similar screen where you can see each character card you own and the preferred themes of that character. However, when selected, it will ask you if you are sure you wish to invite this specific card to your guest room. Selecting yes will invite that specific outfit card to your room, and that card will receive a set amount of friendship experience based on how well your room design matches their preferences. The card will either rank their preferred theme or their dorm, not both. It's roughly a 50-50. So your layout will need to incorporate both their preferred themes and their dorm if you want to get consistently high experience across the board. Once invited, the character will appear in your guest room for the next 10 hours. When time is up, you can invite them again or someone else, whatever floats your boat. Duplicate keys are the last little button on this left-hand side, and these are not related to friendship at all. They are separate mechanics. I have seen so much confusion about this, and I think it's really because giving a key and giving an invite kind of boils down to I give character a thing, and then character appears in the room. So clearly the same thing must be happening both times, but that's not the case. Giving your friend a key to your house does not guarantee that they're going to come over when you're home to hang out with you, but giving them an invitation with a specific date and time does. So while both require trust, the outcomes are very different. As such, duplicate keys are a purely aesthetic feature that only affects the RNG chances for the free-roaming characters in your room, which are there by default even before you unlock friendship features. These keys basically allow you to choose which outfit cards you get to see more often because they will boost the RNG chances of those cards appearing organically in your room. To be able to give a card a key, that card needs to have reached uncapped level 2, and your guest room must be at least rank 12 or higher. The key RNG rates are very high, so if you assign all 4 keys like this, then you'll basically only see these characters in your guest room. However, you can reassign or even take away keys as much or as little as you want, so there's nothing to fear here, and no currency is required either. It's entirely up to you and your preference, so do as you will when you will. One thing to note, though, is that if you give a duplicate key to a Floyd card, and then you invite a Floyd card, you cannot have 2 instances of Floyd in your guest room at the same time. The invited Floyd will replace the duplicate key Floyd in your guest room for the duration of the invitation. So be aware of that. Trouble is another aesthetic mechanic that can happen from time to time, kind of randomly. When this happens, you will enter your guest room and see this big puffy cloud that says tap, 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 tap. Tapping on the cloud will then reveal which two characters got into a scuffle, and each of those characters will have a voice line that plays that kind of describes the situation a little bit. Some of these voice lines are character specific based on interactions between characters. So if you have Leona and Vil fighting in a room, they are going to comment on each other and have specific dialogue based on their relationship. But if you have Crowley fighting with a student, generally it's going to be the same dialogue from Crowley and that student. It's going to be somewhat generic each time since there isn't a real relationship between either of those people. This is nice and flavorful, and it can be fun to discover all the different voice lines, but that is all that Trouble does. It just plays unique voice lines, and that's it. And you can even skip these voice lines if you don't care. As soon as you tap to break the two kiddos up, you can hit the skip button, and then you don't hear the voice lines, and then you can get on to business. If you want to watch your boys wander around your room without these pesky buttons in the way, simply tap this little arrow button and then all of that will magically disappear. To get the UI back, you simply need to hit this back button in the top left. If you hit the back button on your device, it'll take you out of the guest room entirely and put you back on the home screen. So you have to use the in-game back button if you just want to get the guest room options back. So be aware of that. And at any point in time, whether the buttons are there or not, you can pinch and zoom and do all that sort of stuff to look at the details closer or get as far away to get a nice eagle eye view of your room. All of that's just built into the guest room automatically. That's not anything fancy. The last base feature on the guest room home screen is the comfort counter in the bottom left, which has this little coffee cup icon that I thought was Sam's top hat for an embarrassingly long time. Tapping on this will bring up a nightmarish screen with lots of information that can be daunting to read at first. And it is here that we gotta take off the training wheels and talk about the comfort mechanic. Comfort level is determined by how comfortable your room is for everyone on campus. Because of this, you need to have diverse themes and dorms like I talked about in the guest room overview, because you want Vil to be just as comfortable in your room as Malleus. Both people need to be catered to, so all dorms and all themes need to be represented in some way, more or less. Due to its emphasis, you'll probably want to get it as high as you can, as quickly as you can, so how do you go about doing so? Since the game doesn't explain this to you, you might look to the comfort tracker in order to get some sort of information about how this works. And the bad news is that the comfort tracker is extremely misleading. This is not only tracking the metrics used for comfort, but also the metrics used for friendship, and it has an entire section of data that is completely irrelevant to both. The good news is that for comfort levels specifically, the only thing you have to pay attention to besides your actual comfort score and the token amounts it gives you is the theme graph on the right. That is it. That is the only thing that is important when you are considering comfort because of the way that it is calculated. Now, why is it this way? Why are you getting all this information if the only thing that's important is this graph? Well, comfort is determined by how comfortable your room would be to every single student on NRC's campus. This means that you need to have all of the themes equally represented in your guest room. So the closer that this graph looks to a circle or to a perfect sort of pentagon, the better your comfort score is going to be generically. The more dorms you have incorporated will also generically boost that score as well. However, there are certain requirements you have to hit for both in order for them to be effective. Because the guest room has a secret mechanic called the set mechanic. I don't know if that's the official name, but that is the name that I'm going to go with. In where you can have 8 pieces of furniture that share a common attribute, and if you have 8 or more pieces of furniture with that attribute, they will give you bonus points on top of their base comfort scores. For example, if you have 8 pieces of cute furniture in a room, you will be receiving a cute set bonus on top of the base comfort points those pieces of furniture are already giving you. If you have 8 pieces of unique furniture, you will have a unique set bonus. The more sets you have in a room, the more bonus points you will receive. And if you have a set of every single theme, then every single piece of furniture that you place is going to give you bonus points because it will fall into one of those theme set groups. The same exact thing applies to dorm pieces of furniture. So if you have 8 pieces of octagonal furniture, every octagonal piece you place after that point, regardless of where it comes from, is going to trigger that bonus. Unfortunately, sets are not tracked anywhere within the guest room system. You cannot see how many bonus points you are getting for any of your furniture pieces in the tracker or anywhere else. Dorm furniture specifically is only tracked by rank, and this is important for friendship specifically. The theme graph is only showing percentages, so that's not helpful for figuring out your exact points either. Sets are a hidden system that can get confused with the series on the left, since these are emphasized above all else for absolutely no reason. I do not understand why this information is included in the tracker. It bothers me so much because it's very misleading. In fact, there is an octagonal series within this tracker, and if you place all of the furniture items in that series, you get 100 comfort points. However, if you trigger an octagonal dorm bonus by placing at least 2 more pieces of furniture, those points don't get added to that series, because all the series will do is tell you what kind of furniture might look best together and the base comfort points those pieces of furniture give you in your guest room. If you have all of the octagonal series placed, you will get 100 base comfort points. Placing a Floyd Zoom or a Jade Zoom or any kind of octagonal furniture to get you to that 8 or more mark is going to give you those bonus points for triggering an octagonal set, but the tracker is never going to tell you that you got those points. Your comfort score will add them, and your comfort score won't increase dramatically, but the series is never going to tell you that. This can trap a lot of players into building series when you don't need to, because half of the screen is taken up by this mechanic that doesn't actually affect anything. It's so stupid, and it doesn't matter for friendship either. It is just noise, and so you should not pay attention to this at all. The only thing that you should be doing if you want a high comfort level score is placing 8 or more pieces of furniture in every single theme, and also placing 8 or more pieces of furniture in at least 3 dorms, and the dorms that you pick should have differing themes so that you can work towards both goals together. That is it. That is how you get a high comfort score. It's not complicated at all, and because the game obfuscates it so heavily, it can feel really confusing when it's not. However, there are a couple of things that you are going to have to be aware of when you are working towards this goal to ensure that your comfort stays high. Even though you are working towards having these theme and dorm sets, the furniture that you place cannot include duplicate items. Unfortunately, duplicate items will decrease your comfort score point blank. So placing 10 of the same couch is actually going to make your room less comfortable, if you can believe such a thing. This does not mean that you cannot have 10 different couches. It only applies to the exact same item being reproduced and placed. Like all of these Pomfiore couches are actually detracting comfort points from my score in this particular layout because it's the same item here like 10 or more times. Certain furniture items like rugs and room dividers are exempt from this negative effect, so placing duplicates of those will not detract any points, but because they are a low rank and typically only have one theme, you're not going to get a lot of those bonuses to boost your comfort with them. Depending on your goals though, having a couple of duplicate dorm rugs may not hurt. But where comfort is concerned, I would caution you against using duplicate furniture unless you have a solid strategy formed around it. The other thing you have to look out for is reaching your item cap. The last 10 items that you place in your room will subtract negative points, and this is why the game warns you not to place too many furniture items. However, if the furnishings you're placing in that last 10 group actually further a dorm or theme bonus, the bonus points will negate the negative points and you will still net a positive towards your comfort score. So this is a little less serious than the duplicates. But you do have to be strategic in what you are placing to ensure that it counts towards those bonuses instead. Now, to set up a comfort level room, you need to prioritize crafting SR and SSR rank furnishings as much as possible. These usually have 2 themes and sometimes a dorm affiliation, so they can count towards multiple bonuses at once, saving you space and resources. If a piece is unique and cute, it'll count towards both of those themes' group bonuses, and if it happens to be affiliated with a dorm, then it'll count towards the dorm bonus too. Between the 3 types of bonuses, series, dorm, and theme, the ones that count towards the majority of your points are dorm and theme. Series bonuses, like I said before, are kind of nice, but working towards multi-theme furnishings and dorm furnishings will serve you better in the long run. This is especially true with the dorm furnishings, as these can not only be used to boost your comfort score, but can help land you bonus friendship experience as well. This is also pretty true with the theme furniture, but SR and SSR dorm furnishings give out the most amount of dorm points, and you can directly see this impact shown in the actual number displayed below the dorm. These types of furnishings also require dorm gems to craft, and these gems can be a pain to acquire. So choosing dorms and furnishings that can work towards both comfort and friendship will save you time and resources. For this reason, try to target the dorms of characters that you also want to increase the friendship of when crafting for comfort. To break past the 3000 comfort level mark, you'll want to target 3 dorms and all 5 themes. You can target 4 or 5 dorms if you want to, just make sure that if you're doing so, you pick ones that cover different themes. I have a comfort layout set up with an Octagonal section, Palmfiore section, Heartslibble section, and Diasomnia section on the first floor, with smaller sections for the other dorms, plus event furnishings on the second floor. Combined, this gives me over 4,000 comfort. However, not everyone has access to the second floor. So, if you don't have both floors unlocked, then setting up a similar first floor should net you around 3,000, and if you sacrifice the 4th dorm to ensure your theme points are well balanced, then you can get well over that amount. In this example, I'm getting 2 more tokens per hour, and I'm quite close to 4,000 overall, without having placed the maximum number of furnishings either. There will be slight variations, of course, to account for, since your room's maximum spaces and maximum furniture are going to fluctuate depending on where your room rank is and where you're at in your guest room journey. But it is doable to have a higher comfort score in a smaller space as long as you are prioritizing equitable themes and maybe 1 or 2 dorms. Once your comfort level is where you want it to be, you can sit back, relax, and farm tokens. Or you can work towards friendship. If we return to the stats page, we can see our lovely theme points and dorm points predominantly displayed on the right side of the screen. Like I mentioned before, these 2 metrics are directly related to friendship leveling, and you need both to be at certain milestones in order to get boosted experience during invites, which is where you'll be getting the majority of your friendship leveling experience from. Each character in the game has their own unique preferences and is, of course, affiliated with a specific dorm. These preferences are character-specific, not card-specific, as we discussed before. So all cards of a particular character are going to share those same preferences, meaning that once you set up a room for Floyd, every single version of Floyd that you have or will acquire will enjoy that room. When you go to the invite or gift page, you'll be met with all of your cards and these preferences displayed, so they're pretty easy to find. When inviting a character, they will rate your room based on either their theme preference or their dorm affiliation, with which one they choose being determined by RNG. The only way to tell which of these 2 aspects was ranked is to listen to or read the voice line played right after they are invited. If they talk about the types of furniture, then you will know the theme was scored, and if they talk about their dorm, then you know that dorm was scored. There are 4 ranks these scores can fall under, with each rank having its own requirements for both theme and dorm, respectively. The ranks themselves are Good, which gives the base rate, Good Plus, which gives 1.5 times the base, Great, which gives twice the base, and Excellent, which gives 2.5 times the base. There is no visual indicator to denote the difference between Good and Good Plus, but there is one for Great and Excellent. Despite these being visually similar to the Good, Great, and Excellent card leveling bonuses, Which one you get for friendship is not determined by RNG, but rather the dorm and theme points of your room layout. This is very important to understand, as the furniture you plan for your comfort room could also be used for your friendship room. But if you're like me and assumed that RNG played a role here, you could instead be spending a lot of time crafting things you never need. Invite friendship experience is gained at the exact moment the card is invited, so any changes made to the guest room layout after the character is already in it will not affect this rating or the experience gained for the invitation, but such changes will affect future invites. Since these bonuses are granted either from dorm points or from theme points, you'll have to set up your friendship room in a very specific way. This wiki has the data for the dorm and theme points already compiled into this nice table, so we'll be using it to help visualize what we're talking about. These numbers were pulled from player data though, so they may not be 100% accurate. However, they are good guidelines to follow, particularly where dorm points are concerned, since dorm points are very clearly calculated and displayed in the guest room status page. If your dorm points reach these milestones, you'll likely be getting their corresponding experience boosts if dorm is scored during an invite. Since SR and SSR furnishings give you the most dorm points, prioritizing them can help you reach the 401 mark more easily. You can technically reach this mark by crafting only SR furnishings, but it would take about 67 or 68 pieces, which isn't going to leave you very much room for themed furniture unless you have the second floor unlocked. Most furnishings at the higher ranks also have a creation limit of like 20 or 30, so you unfortunately can't just mass produce 60 chairs or sooms and call it a day. It's best to mix SR and SSRs together so that you leave room for more theme pieces, especially if a character's preferred themes do not match their dorm furniture. Looking at you, Lilia. Speaking of themes, these are far more complicated to calculate for a variety of reasons. The first is that there are no numbers displayed in the status screen, so you just kind of have to estimate where you are by counting line intersections. Each intersection does count as a theme bar or point gained, but if you're between points, good luck figuring out exactly how many points you're getting. This chart also appears to have a maximum of 6 points for each theme, given that there are only 6 line intersections displayed. However, this is inaccurate, as you can actually exceed 6 points in a single theme, but there is no visual indicator to tell you that this has happened. And if you don't know how the cards score their themes, this could mislead you down a very dangerous path. You know how every character has their 2 themes? Did you know that only one of those themes is going to score you full points? Indeed, the primary theme will give you full points for each bar scored in that theme, but the secondary theme will only score half points. If you hypothetically had 6 unique bars and 3 cute bars for Floyd, you would only be getting 7.5 points when theme is scored, not 9. Because the 3 cute bars only actually account for 1.5 points. I think the game is set up like this to encourage players to visually max out both of the themes for their target friendship characters, as 6 bars in both would get you 9 total points. However, doing that is exceptionally difficult, perhaps even more so than raising dorm points. It is much easier from a crafting standpoint to prioritize furnishings that have the primary theme and flood the room with those, since those will work towards the full points. If these furnishings have the proper dorm affiliation or even have the correct secondary theme, they can be extremely useful in setting up a friendship room. Certain characters, like Vil, work well in this regard because the SSR dorm couch meets these requirements. Mass producing that item will let you raise the theme and dorm stats all at once for Vil, making it much easier to level up his friendship. However, there are also characters like Lilia who love cute and unique things, but almost all of Diasomnia's dorm furniture is neither one of those things. You could technically fill a room with the special plushie items, as these do have both of those themes and are also Diasomnia items, but you'll need so many tokens to make that happen. These items also don't easily transfer to the other characters in Diasomnia either, like Malleus, who likes the stylish and basic themes. So you'd have to grind away making furnitures for him anyways. This doesn't mean it isn't worth pursuing friendship with Lilia. It's just a bit harder to do, and so you need to strategize a little bit more. As far as I know, even after all of these years, there aren't any solid metrics for how furniture pieces get you theme points assigned once they are placed. From a few little tests I did, it seems like the larger items will give you more points compared to the smaller ones, which makes sense to me since they take up more space within the room and therefore would be promoting that theme more than some other furnishings. It also seems like the primary theme of a furnishing gives out a few more points than its secondary theme, but I am a sample size of 1, and the theme graph is ridiculously hard to read, so take all of this with a grain of salt. If you end up experimenting around, let me know what you find, because I am very curious. In any case, when setting up a room to upgrade friendship, it can be good to pick either the theme or the dorm to be your focus up front. The furnishings you include are going to be entirely dependent on who you are trying to level, so I am not even going to attempt to get into every character's specific case. But if your target character will let you get both criteria easily, like Vil for instance, then go for both at the same time. If your target character is more like Lilia, pick whatever criteria will let you either increase friendship easily or let you upgrade some of your other cards too. In all cases, try to look for upper rank dorm furnishings that match at least the primary theme of your target character and try to craft those. If you're going for dorm points, make sure you're prioritizing the SR and SSR furnishings. If you're going for theme points, just make sure the furniture you're placing has the primary theme as its first theme to get as many of those points as possible. Regardless of what your strategy is, you are absolutely going to need duplicates, and they are totally okay here. In fact, duplicates can be especially helpful for folks who have dorm furnishings with their preferred themes, because you can easily rack up points in both of those aspects by simply making a few different couches or bookshelves. When you have the second floor unlocked, you can even split the requirements between those floors, adding all of your dorm items to the first floor and then your theme items on the second. That way you can achieve a slightly more cohesive looking layout for both. And I find that this also helps me have a more equal amount of furnishings for those two aspects so that I can consistently get higher bonuses with each invitation, since both of those aspects are then decently leveled. One of the better furniture pieces to craft that will let you get both themes and dorm points for every character in the game are the character portrait items. These will have a character's preferred themes and dorm affiliation as attributes, so if you craft all 10 of the SR rank frames, you can get yourself 60 dorm points easily and you don't have to use the large gems. These will also further the theme stats, so they can be quite useful. Just be careful not to craft the R rank ones, as these will only give you 40 dorm points a set, but still take a decent amount of resources. Since SR rank character portraits of SSR cards are only unlocked after uncapped level 1 and groovification, these aren't always the answer for a friendship room, but they can give you a boost and are generally easy to craft, so they can be a good supplemental piece to incorporate. When upgrading friendship, it can be good to set up a room that gets you at least a great bonus in one area with a good plus in the other, at least to start with. Crafting dorm furnishings can take a while since the higher tier items need more gems, and even regular furniture pieces can use a lot of resources, so it'll probably take you a while to get to your target levels in both focuses. The bonus you get from the great rank is still going to raise your friendship faster than a good or good plus, so don't stress about getting excellence right off the bat. In fact, to this day, I haven't even bothered to further optimize my Floyd room because I can consistently get greats for his theme ranking, and that experience still allows him to level up really fast. Also, if you're ever strapped for dorm gems, you can level SSR cards up with stickers and other gift items if they are close to certain friendship milestones, as those levels will reward you with gems from their dorm. You can't get a lot of big gems this way, but it could help you out if you're in a pinch. On that note, when taking on Gauntlet battles, make sure you're actually taking on the challenge for the gems that you need. Octave and L's gems are very similar to Palmfiore's, and the same can be said for Scarabia and Heartslable. The characters you need for the battle will generally include folks from the target dorm, but sometimes they can overlap, like both Ace and Jamil are part of the basketball team, but the gems that you gain for that are from Scarabia. The colors and their dorms are as follows. Lavender is for Octave and Nell, Violet is for Palmfiore, Crimson is for Scarabia, and Rose Red is thankfully for Heartslable. So, if you weren't already familiar with these differences, just look out for them the next time you head into the Gauntlet. If you are a beginner and you are just starting out, then you are going to use everything that you have learned today to maximize your room for comfort. You are going to start stockpiling tokens and basic resources as much as you can to be able to craft as much furniture as you can to min-max that comfort. Pick one dorm besides Ramshackle to be your focus for dorm-related furniture items and tackle their gem challenges whenever that dorm is up in the rotation. Getting an early stock of gems will make crafting dorm furniture easier later on, and one day of missed stone typically doesn't hurt all that much. Certain room rank upgrades will require you to have specific amounts of dorm points. These are not specific to a single dorm. It is just any dorm that you have would like to be at this point rank, please, is what they're asking you. So having gems at the ready to create SR and SSR furnishings can quickly get you past those marks. However, Ramshackle also counts as a dorm, and those furnishings don't require gems to craft, so you can circumvent these requirements by crafting those pieces instead, allowing you to hoard your Hartzlable gems or Octave and L gems for better furniture pieces down the line. Once you've got a nice stock of basic items or your target dorm's gems, then you can start to expand your gem collection to those other dorms. One of the best ways to increase your comfort quickly or stock up on themed furniture is to make use of limited time events as well. You will have to sacrifice a few days of Gauntlet farming to get the specific event materials, but their furnishings can be quite helpful, especially the larger ones. If you've got a good stock of basic materials or a decent comfort layout that rakes in tokens, then it's going to be gems all day, every day until limited time events come up, in which case it'll be magic paint all day, every day, and then you will switch back to gems after the event is over. If you have a good comfort layout already made, then the only thing that you really need to focus on is friendship. And if you want to max every card in your library, you're gonna need all the themes eventually. Therefore, collecting as much event furniture as you can, especially the larger pieces, is always going to be in your favor, and you're going to need those dorm gems to get the excellent bonuses more easily from the dorm, so prioritizing both will get you the best of both worlds. But at this point, I have a feeling that you may be asking, is there a way to get both comfort and friendship into one singular layout? Can you min-max the min-maxing? The short answer is not really. These two systems are directly opposed to one another, so anything you do to try to promote friendship is going to detract from comfort, and anything you do for comfort will detract from friendship. That said, if you have the second floor unlocked, you can have a friendship room with enough overall furniture to trigger some of those theme bonuses, which will offset the comfort detractors. You'll get an overall comfort score that isn't too shabby, which will still net you a decent amount of tokens, and if you happen to forget to switch back to your main comfort layout after an invitation, as I have done many times, your token grinding will just slow to a trickle instead of a dead stop. Naturally, this is still inefficient, so what you really want to do is set up two different saved layouts, one for comfort and then one for the character you're leveling. When it's time to invite, just switch to the friendship room layout and invite the character. After they've gained their experience, just switch right back to your comfort layout. This way you can reap the benefit of both systems without having to create complicated spreadsheets and try to untangle the messy math behind the guest room. If you haven't unlocked this feature yet, then just focus on comfort until you do. And then you can create your friendship layout and save it to a slot to be able to do the switcheroo. Hopefully, you now have a better understanding of the guest room's leveling mechanics and are inspired to create your own comfort and friendship layouts. If you did find this video helpful, please let me know with a like or a comment or maybe even a subscribe. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future or have something else you'd like me to cover, please let me know below. If comments aren't your thing, you could always like and subscribe instead. But before you go, I just want to remind you that you're amazing and I hope you have a wonderful day.